I'm Ellie from crystallinks.com. Today is Wednesday, August 9th, 2017. And the world is in a deeper crisis than we've seen in a long time. Let's go back. 2 days ago, we had a lunar eclipse in Aquarius, okay? Some people felt it, some people didn't, some people's grids were aligned to it. Me, I'm an Aquarian, but I didn't really feel anything. So we moved to Tuesday, which was yesterday. Yesterday was 8.8.2017, okay? But 17 is 8, so yesterday was 8.8.8. Okay, very good. Something's gonna happen on a day where there's 888. I'm here with my friend Barry, who is a cameraman. Hi, Barry.
Hello.
He'd rather be behind the camera, but he has full permission to talk about everything. All right, so in the energy of this eclipse, the lunar eclipse, it lasts for like 2.5 days after the eclipse, all the way to the big eclipse people in the United States are waiting for. That's the one in 12 days now. It's Monday, August 21st. In that window, with Mercury retrograde thrown in, a lot of things are going to happen, okay? People's nerves are going to be very much on edge. And, well, let's just talk about exactly what happened recently, okay? I want to segue back. None of you, probably other than me, definitely not Barry, he's only in his 40s, remember the North Korean War. I was a little girl. I don't want to tell you my story, but I was a little girl. I was in elementary school. I lived in Brooklyn, New York, and the North Korean War was going on, and I mean, people were really scared. I mean, they didn't know what kabooms we were going to create later on, but it was after World War II. They knew about atomic energy, but when the Korean War started, all I remember from that is I used to wear this silver dog tag. Do you remember dog tags?
Yep.
I had a dog tag with all my information on it, and all the kids did, not just me, because my mom wanted it. All the kids had dog tags, and periodically there would be something called a shelter drill. You don't remember that? You do remember?
Bomb drill too.
What?
And a bomb drill in elementary school.
Yeah,
Sit under my desk.
What used to happen is a siren would go off, and all of the children would go under their little desks, the old-fashioned desks. We're talking 1952, 53, you know, well, it ended in 53. But it was somewhat of a scary time, and that's when my psychic abilities started kicking in, and I didn't really see us bombed. I saw a war over a period of a few years, and that it would end with whatever treaties, I didn't know. And my, thoughts were correct. That's exactly what happened. Now, it's been many years since 1953, and so much has happened with North Korea. So many times, the leaders of that country have come forward with hatred for the United States because of what happened back in the early 50s, and it's vengeful. We segue now to August 2017, and who do we have? I wrote the words down here so I wouldn't forget, two very unstable leaders. They're emotionally guided, they're very impulsive, they act in the moment, and what they're doing is they're really gambling with the lives of who knows how many millions of people. Instead of negotiating, they're instigating each other. What's the right way to say this? They're playing chicken with each other. Apparently, this is what happened with North Korea, okay? North Korea has or may not have, as yet, miniaturized a nuclear warhead, saying they have the ability to mount it on a working ICBM, send it, launch it up into space, knowing that it will survive re-entry, and then somehow they would be able to guide it to wherever. Okay, this is what's going on right now. So we have Kim Jong-un, who's, the North Korean 27-year-old, immature, guy who just likes to blow things up, because that's what he's been doing in recent months. And that's why, even though North Korea has said for years, we have this, we have that, the proof is, show us, you know? And this guy is just hell-bent, I don't know on doing what. I've always said, when I see him in recent months blowing things into the Sea of Japan, we're talking about tectonic plates also. If he hits the Pacific plate, which is already broken, and today was a 7.0 in China, which is a different plate, but all the plates are connected. If he's going after Guam now, okay? That's what he wants to do, because we have 30% of the population, we have military bases there. He wants to start with that. And once you start hitting, that's the Pacific plate, once you start hitting the Pacific plate, as if it's not bad enough, you know, the plates are kind of like slip sliding over each other, and they're broken. We all know about the Pacific Ring earthquakes and tsunamis, and it's something you could look up for sure. But if he keeps pounding on that plate and pounding on that plate, it's gonna break. There's gonna be tsunamis. All the other plates is gonna ripple, and you know, it's one way or another. You just can't do this. So this is what he's got now. Does he have what he say he has in terms of hurting the United States? Can he do what he says he's going to do? So along comes Donald Trump, and Donald Trump, instead of trying to negotiate something as they've done in the past years, there have been various negotiations with North Korea that have stopped their nuclear development, is that the word? Their nuclear proliferation? I don't know the right word. You don't know?
No.
Oh, well, the growth of their nuclear weapons, okay? There have been gaps because of different agreements that have been made. But this guy, Kim Jong-un, he's not interested in any of that. He is just, you know, it's almost, to me, you know how I look at life? I look at life that we are in end times. It's almost as if he is a key player put in place along with good old Donald Trump in what's end times. The climate changes, the natural disasters, the personal relationships of the world, everything in the world now points to the fact that this is, however you call your end time scenarios, whether you want to say there's aliens coming back, whatever you envision as going to happen at the end, like, to me, it's just clear cut fade to black. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you could be walking down the street, you could be having dinner, you could be talking on the phone, whatever you're doing, when it ends, like an algorithm ends, it's like, boom, it's done, it's over. So now let's get back to where we are now. So now we have Donald Trump, and I just, somewhere here, I wrote his quote down, okay, after he said we are being threatened, but he talked about unleashing fury and fire and power like the world has never seen before. And when I saw it on the news yesterday, my first thought, it just flitted back to me. Does that sound a little bit like something Hitler might have said? Not Hitler? I thought of Hitler. Maybe because Hitler was another crazy
You
one.
talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
It sounds like Kim Jong, same thing. He would do.
Well, these two, I mean, come on, think about it. In this world, we're supposed to be modern people, right? In this world, okay, well, we should be progressing and fixing this and fixing that and just moving forward, although technology and science are, but we should be going faster with all of this. We're dealing with these insane, crazy characters in the scenario that we call our reality, which I still think is an illusion. But these two guys have the capability of instigating each other enough so that it's all going to go boom one day. It's funny, this morning I went into my soul, I was talking to a friend, and we follow things. We follow things as, okay, this is what's happening in front of the cameras, okay? All of this, the Trumps, the this, the that, everything is happening in front of the cameras. But we talk about what's going on behind the cameras. Are there cabals creating all of this, putting these people in place and setting up these scenarios? Are people like Trump and Kim Jong-un and other political people, are they just puppets in a game? You know, there's so many ways to look at it, but in front of the cameras, this is what you're experiencing. This is what's on the news. If you believe it, you think it's fake news, real news, whatever. This is what's going on, and you have to look a little bit behind the scenes. What's going on behind the scenes? Okay? The next 2 weeks till the eclipse is over, and we'll still be in Mercury retrograde, and we will be going into what I call Virgo transition on August 22nd, which means change. Change for school, relocation, relationships. Those are other blogs we'll talk about another day. Something is propelling this into motion now between lunar eclipse and solar eclipse, okay? It's something beyond our grasp. We probably wouldn't understand it, but there are so many factions and diversions and things going on now that you have to stop and wonder what. So I would like to ask my friend Barry, what's your take on all of this?
My honest, it's smoke and mirrors. So I think everybody's just pawns in a game.
Well, yeah, that's
how I feel it.
That's
I think
what
the media is causing most of the issues also. They take their sides and then they run with it.
The media just wants to get the better story. They're competitive.
They just want a story. They don't necessarily want the truth.
Yeah.
That's the problem. If they went for the truth, then that's not what people want.
You see, but the thing with the truth is, I don't think the truth is available to us now.
Then they shouldn't report stuff. Their job as a news is supposed to be unbiased. They create a lot of chaos and havoc and people yearning for any information whatsoever, whether it's the truth or not.
That's true. That's always been
and
the
that
case.
causes a lot of issues. So I think they should just back off and just report good things for a change, instead of looking for just evil all over the world.
Well, partly I would agree, and there are some good stories out there, few and far between. But the human psyche doesn't want the good story. Yeah, once in a while we read the good stories. Oh, we saved this little child's life who was drowning, or oh, isn't this a wonderful thing? We had a bake-off or something like that. Yeah, we get those stories, but we're not built for that. We're built for the dramas. Humans are built for dramas, and it's getting worse and worse and worse, okay? You see it in reality TV. What is that about? That is, oh my God, it's fake. You talk about fake news, reality TV, forget about it. And people are excited about it. You see it in social media. I mean, all they want to do on social media is get online and bash somebody. You know, this person is terrible. What were they doing? What were they thinking? This one, that one. And the more of that comes out, that's what perks people. That's what keeps them coming back. And I think that's why the media will go for these stories. I know a lot of people in media. I read a lot of clients in media. And those clients really want to do the best possible job to bring the news to their audience. They do, whether they're writing it or they're blogging it or they're anchor people. I've had CBS here, Fox here. Did you know I had all those channels here? Yeah, and the people who came here to video, they're doing the best they can. They're given a story, and they want to make it the most interesting, the most exciting. You know, it's like playing a game of, what is it, telephone or something? This is the story. This is the real story, okay? But then I'm going to tell Barry the story, and then Barry's going to tell it to Jack. And Jack is going to tell it to his audience, you know, because he's an anchor person.
And how many people are purposely holding information back, though, also, because it doesn't adhere to their story.
Yes.
That's the problem again. Yeah.
You see, that's the algorithm of this reality, that there's always a conspiracy. Our entire reality is based on a conspiracy, and that's why we look for them. The conspiracy is, this isn't real. This is just a holographic illusion, okay? That we're sort of getting it, little by little by little. You know, people, it's seeping into consciousness, but there's always a conspiracy. We're an electromagnetic energy, physical reality, okay? Physical, okay? We need that. Electromagnetic energy are your poles, your north and your south, making us bipolar. Here we are, we're a bipolar reality. And whether you know someone who's bipolar, everyone has a little shtick. They have a little something that's wrong with them. And it's just a crazy, wacky world. I don't know who created this algorithm, but It is what it is, but if you're feeling with your soul, forgetting North Korea, forgetting Trump, well, we can't forget either one of those. Certainly can't forget Trump. He's headlines every day. But forgetting all of that, there is a greater story behind the story. If we bomb North Korea, and I don't know why they can't take certain people there out. Barry worked in law enforcement, so maybe, maybe he has a clue, but it's if we bombed each other and the whole thing blew up and the earthquakes happened and the tsunamis happened and oh my God, your worst fears, your worst case scenarios all came to pass, okay? If all of that happened, it's all gonna fade to black. Everything would just fade to black. And then when that happens, just so, because I talk about the fade to black a lot, what happens is, I'm not Ellie this, okay? I'm just a little spark of light, and my little spark of light would go off into what I call a collective unconscious. And once you leave this, or Barry leaves his body and you leave your body, once that happens and you become in total consciousness, you'd understand the whole hologram. And you probably would not emotionally react, because we only emotionally react here in physical reality. You would probably say something like, that was interesting, but let's not do it again. This is not something we want to do again. We are progressing in science, technology, armament, so many different ways. My favorite part, you know what my favorite part is of law enforcement? Surveillance. That's why I don't watch old movies. With surveillance, it's like, I watch a TV show, right? And I'm used to like NCIS Los Angeles. So right away, everybody's right on it. Oh, this one happened, and there's a motorcycle. Let's go chase him with the cams. And all the information is there. I'm a huge believer in technology. But then again, Barry and I and you, we are techs. We're just simulations and a hologram, so we're part of the technology. I know you don't like that thought, but it is what it is. Don't get so emotionally enmeshed in it. Now, whatever's going to happen with North Korea, they're saying that they have the ability to miniaturize a nuclear warhead, send it up into space, have it come back into the atmosphere, and direct it. Right now they're talking Guam. Do they or don't they is what was on the news this morning. My take is, I think they do, and if they don't, they're working round the clock to do that. That guy Kim, he's like, we're gonna get this done. He's hell-bent and determined. In other words, he's nuts, and that's why I think of people like Hitler. It's just, he's a nutsy guy, and unless he's put out of office one way or another, something bad's gonna happen. And you know what happened with Trump? Do you remember, Barry, when Trump was running for office, everyone said, we can't trust him with the nuclear codes. Mm-hmm. So the question for today, August 9th, 2017, can we trust him with the nuclear codes? I think so, because I think there's enough people in the Pentagon, and where else? The military?
They don't just launch.
Excuse me?
It takes a lot to launch a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's not going to just launch it.
Yeah, and so I just don't, I wish I could feel some sense of fear. Like today, okay, I got an email first thing in the morning from a woman named Terry. I'm not giving her last name. Terry had a dream last night about North Korea. She saw Trump, Kim Jong-un, she saw arguments, and she woke up like in a cold sweat and a panic. She did not see how it was going to turn out. She did not see that it was all going to go boom, but she remembers very clearly that she was dreaming about them. It's in the consciousness grids in which we experience, okay? That's another topic. Everything we experience is just consciousness, it's not real. So she went into the grids, she saw the information, she brought it back, but luckily she didn't see everything going boom. It's not about things just going boom, it's the ripples. Let's say they set off something nuclear, okay, that would hit the West Coast. All of the fallout of that, we know what happens. It's going to come across the country. It's not very good. I'm not one of those people who want an ugly ending, but my God, every time I turn around, when I say, all right, this is coming closer and closer and closer to closure, which I know 100% for sure, I'm looking for like some nice little ending, you know, where maybe we're going to get rescued from aliens, or something that makes the journey that we've all experienced in this lifetime and others worth the trip. So with Korea, not much you can do, not much I can do. Every week's another thing since Trump got in office. Every day, every week, everywhere we look, there's going to be something else. It's like I watched Brian Williams, and Brian Williams said, well, he said this last night. He said, well, we made it to Tuesday. You know, so I don't know what else to say. Do you have anything more to add about any of this?
No.
Well, don't be panicked. Not Barry. Well, Barry too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Don't be panicked. Well, Barry's going through a divorce. Be panicked, Barry. Be panicked. Anybody who's been for a divorce, run for the hills, Barry.
Yeah.
But that's another story. But seriously, what are you going to do? You know, I mean, do you want to plan for something? You want to have a go bag? Is that what it's called? A go bag and water and things and underground bunkers and whatever is calling to you? You got to follow your guidance, follow your soul, and do what you got to do. You know, for me, I'm here in Brooklyn in a top floor apartment. Maybe it's my age, maybe because I've seen so many wars. I mean, I was born at the very end of World War II. I've seen Korea, I've seen Vietnam. I've known people who have gone and died and all kinds of stories. But I'm just going to sit back and I'm just going to sit this one out. And maybe there's a reason Trump became president, but there are diversions, there are things. Just remember, everything in the news, everything you're seeing and experiencing is 3D. Right here, right now, in the physical, but there are bigger and better things going on behind the scenes. Can you find them? Maybe you're one of these people who have a consciousness that can, otherwise, no. So I say thank you until next time, if there's a next time.